Here I'm going to talk about my slides and the different things of the natural resources of government legislation. My first slide talks about the 1960s, and they saw an increased public awareness of the environment. Rachel Carlson's Silent Spring helped fuel this environmental recognition with concern and the need of regularly action. Also, the highway revolts that took place in the 1960s grabbed the government's attention and called for the passage of law that protected the environment. The highway revolts were a series of the protests that were held in many prominent cities such as San Francisco and Boston in response to highways being constructed through many neighborhoods and disturbance of the local environment. Pictured here is, this picture below, but is a freeway protest held in the front of San Francisco, California City Hall because of the I-280 freeway route cutting off part of the east side of the city. Right here on my slide, it'll show you that in the YouTube link. On the second slide talks about Washington Senator Henry Jackson. He was the spearheader of the NEPA, which is called the NEPA. Jackson was known for environmental conservation with his help of establishing 2 national parks in the Wilderness Act of 1964. He held a firm understanding that development of natural resources was not conservation. Witnessing an example of this is the Florida Everglades. He called attention to the lack of respect national agencies such as the Army Corps of Engineers had towards the environment. Pictured here, which is below, which you'll see, is the abandoned projects to build an airport in the Everglades. This project was abandoned because of the so many environmental conservatives that protested this event. Then, in July 1968, Jackson created a joint committee between the Senate and the House, and the highlight environmental challenges to the country was facing in times of development. This committee grew a national environment policy, so we know today. It became effective as law as January 1st, 1970. Then we move on to slide 3. It talks about the NEPA process when agency begins within the government and it proposes a major federal action. The project is then reviewed to see if the environmental needs to be taken into consideration. The NEPA follows 3 levels of analysis of the project site. The first level is the categorical exclusion determination, or CATEX. The CATEX analysis surveys the project to see if it will have an effect of the human environment. If no significant impact is found, then the federal project can be categorically excluded from a more detailed environmental analysis. And that's where we move on to the last slide, which is slide 4. This is the next level of the analysis for the NEPA, is the environmental assessment, or EA. The EA is determined if a federal action will cause significant environmental effects relative to humans. Specific federal agencies usually have a set of procedures suitable for the NEPA when constructing projects. The federal agency will conduct an EA with discussions in the following: proposal need for the project, alternatives, use of resources, potential environmental impacts, and list of agencies or the persons that were consulted during the assessment. The NEPA Council can be found in the EA. Either it has no significance or much significance. If no major environmental significance is found from the EA, the NEPA will issue a finding of no significant impact, or FONSI. If major impact is found, the NEPA will ensue an environmental impact statement, or EIS. Both documents issued will address the reasons why the NEPA found or no major impact.